I know you're not doing this to be prideful, but you've got to be proud of the work you've spearheaded along with others. Just amazing job, Doc, because it's good to see somebody really putting their money where their mouth is, their energy, and really getting things done. You are the model of defeating these people.
Well, we are so close, but that's why I'm really on your show and imploring people to participate, because this is a limited window opportunity. The window is closing, and at some point we will not be able to defeat these guys, these evil incarnate. And this is our chance. So that's why I'm so excited to have the opportunity to really take them down. Oh, you bet. We're excited to be part of it here. What do you think of the fake environmentalists that say carbon dioxide's evil, pay Al Gore money? For me, they divert off of all the real environmental issues like chimera, genetic splicing, all of this stuff that we know is already having a devastating effect. You talk about really hurting the planet. Yeah. These guys are clever on steroids. They are use incredibly sophisticated tools and techniques, and one of them is what you referred to. They'll create these ostensibly public health oriented organizations. They're objective and supposedly truth seeking, when actually they're just arms of the corporations, and they're spreading these false messages. They're going to do the same. They did it when Washington tried to pass this, and they did it with Oregon. They're going to do the same thing in California. So this is their standard modus of operation. Yeah, they're running around saying tax carbon dioxide, that'll save us, instead of not eating stuff that's literally destroying us. Let's go to Red Devil in Illinois. You're on the air with Dr. Mercola. Go ahead.
Hi there, Dr. Mercola.
Hi.
I have a question for you. My stepdaughter, who is turning 16, has contracted fructose malabsorption. Mm-hmm. And I'd love for you to speak on anything you can about that to me. But I'd like to make a statement first. I just talked to a selective serviceman, and they're being briefed on restarting the draft. But thank you.
Yeah, that's actually been in the news, but it's going to be a new domestic FEMA Corps tattletale squad. That's actually on record now. Doctor, his medical question. Well, I think that I don't know if it was your daughter. I think you said it was that the fructose malabsorption is actually a very beneficial thing. And when you look at this condition in animals, these animals live much longer because fructose is one of the most pernicious toxins that you can have in your diet if you have it in large quantities, typically more than 25 grams a day. So it causes it will cause large amounts of fat. It causes metabolic syndrome, and it in many ways is a poison not too different metabolically from alcohol. So it's something that you really want to limit. So not absorbing fructose is a blessing. Believe me, it's a blessing. So how much fruit should my children eat then? Well, we have tables on our website that really list the amount of fructose, because it really depends on the fruit. So sugar, and fruit sugar is a big percentage of fructose. So you go to these tables and you look up the fruit and you see how many grams of fructose it has. So if your total daily fructose consumption should be under 25 grams. What's a really good fruit, just on average? Well, some of the best are lemons and limes. There's virtually no fructose or fructose free, and so you can have virtually unlimited amounts of that. But some of the berries are also low. But if you have 2 quarts of blueberries, you're going to go over your limit. So you have to have it in moderation. But if anyone questions that, and many people do, then there is a simple blood test that one can do. It's called a uric acid. It's a blood test. You can easily get it done at your doctor's. It's really inexpensive. And if that's over 5.0, it's a suggestion that you're having too much fructose, because that's one of the end products of excessive Briefly,
fructose.
Why is diabetes exploding so bad?
Fructose and sugar. Dr. Robert Lustig and Robert Johnson, who were published in his book called The Fat Switch in a month or so, is really explained that in very specific details, but it's too much sugar. That's the bottom line. And carbohydrates. All right. Grains and sugar.
Stay there, Dr. Mercola. Amazing interview. More phone calls. Straight ahead, big breaking news at Infowars.com. Obama ban on youth farms. It's incredible. Stay with us. Sick of the globalist eugenicist. All right, Chris, Tom, Harry, Jacob, Chris. We're doing 5 minutes to the next hour so we can finish up with Dr. Mercola. Again, I'm Alex Jones of Infowars.com. If you're a new listener, Dr. Mercola, of course, has Mercola.com, the #1 alternative media health wellness site out there. And there's a lot of other great ones out there, obviously, as well, doing great work. But they're fighting hardcore right now, and we salute that. Big headline at Infowars.com. Please get this out to everybody. Obama ban on youth farm chores, part of a larger power grab. Agenda 21. You need to get that article out to everybody. This is serious. The Pentagon is over this. Man, that rural council. Let's take another call here. Let's talk to Chris in Kentucky, listening on XM channel 166. You're on the air, Chris. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. Been looking at the world with a completely different perspective over the last couple months since I've been listening to your show. I appreciate what you do. Growing up on a farm, being involved in agriculture, I've seen Monsanto really has put farmers almost in a conundrum with their choice of seed selection. And they've been victims of the propaganda. I know when I was going to college, everyone said that BT was harmless. Now that you've got it in corn, it's not going to hurt a cow or anything that eats it. And we all thought that was grand. And this was just the second phase of the green revolution, just like you had kind of laid out beforehand. But now there are no seed companies really putting a whole lot of research into conventional hybrids to offer farmers an option.
No, that's right. They've totally dominated the market. Dr. Mercola comments on what he's saying.
I couldn't agree more, and that's part of the confusion that these companies use, and that their campaign is to merge or to get the confusion between traditional hybridization techniques and the genetically engineering ones, and they want people to believe that this is just a newer approach when they're radically different.
Yeah, you're not breeding two of the same variety, same species together. No, you're putting
species.
Yeah, it's totally different species. But here's the thing. Monsanto's also buying up the heirloom and hybrid companies, aren't they?
They sure are. It's in their strategy to dominate and control the entire food supply of the world. I mean, it's a very compelling business model. If they're successful, it's kind of like Facebook. They're going to control everything. So, it's different industries, of course, but it's a domination strategy.
But the head of Facebook called his customers dumb bleepers. I mean, that's their attitude.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, Zuckerberg has his challenges.
Okay, let's jam in one more. Thank you, Chris. Great points. Moving fast. Tom in Kansas, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex, it's good to talk to you again. They took you off of KCXL years ago here, just when Rome started to burn, and now I can't get you. One of my questions was, how do I get you in this area? I drive for a living.
I'm on a couple of affiliates up there, and I know KCXL carried us for years and then got another station and stuff, and you just got to listen on XM or shortwave or internet or the free iPhone app. But we've got a few stations up in Kansas and Missouri area. You can go to GCNlive.com, look at their affiliates list. They're adding more all the time. I'm told we just got a big station, in Anchorage, Alaska. So we're growing, but we're number one on the internet when it comes to radio. We're on XM and over 100 AM and FMs, but that's not nearly enough, brother.
I know. Listen, I deliver home oxygen for patients with COPD, and I just came from a patient of mine, a nice man. He's 76 years old. He could otherwise play golf, but he has a lung disorder because of Agent Orange. So it never stops, and it goes back a lot of years.
Absolutely. There we go. I mean, Monsanto, if you study them, it's like it's Satan's company. Do you agree with that statement, Dr. Mercola?
I believe they're evil incarnate.
We'll be right back. All right, final segment with our guest, Dr. Joseph Mercola. I'm Alex Jones. Again, thank you for joining us. Jamming in calls. Going quick here with these callers. But what did you make of the last caller bringing up the fact that, yeah, he just went to a guy who can't breathe and has to have oxygen tanks because of Agent Orange? And it's just like, oh, but Monsanto, they're our good friend. Everything they produce is like from the bowels of Satan.
Well, they're actually going to be producing more of that because the glyphosate, which is I think they're using somewhere between 200 and 300 million pounds a year in the U.S. alone. Because of the massive use of this herbicide, they're developing super weeds. So they've got dozens of different species, over 10 million acres they're completely resistant. So as a result of that resistance, they have to use other Herbicides.
But that's good, though. Now we've got to buy those from them.
Bad for us. And there's long-term chronic toxicity from exposure to these things, and certainly lung damage, and COPD is one of them. So, it persists in the environment, which is a real challenge. And that was one of their original assertions, is that this thing was safe. It didn't stick around, but that's just not true, as we're finding
they wouldn't lie to us. I mean, Agent Orange is good for you, too. Harry in Michigan, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Oh, hi. How you guys doing?
Good.
17-year listener, and I'm a 65-year-old health junkie. And love the Tangy Tangerine, by the way. Take it faithfully 3 times a day.
InfoWarsTeam.com. Thank you.
I give the credit where it's due. Good stuff. My question is, I was in Vietnam at 65, and I was exposed to orange. And I haven't eaten any junk food in years. I got a 34-inch waist. I'm 190 pounds, 65 years old, 5'10". And no meds, no nothing.
Great.
But my deal is I've been purging my system for years now with dehydrated water. Is there another way of doing that, or?
Well, you're referring to detoxification, and one of the problems with these pesticide exposures and chemicals in general is that they tend to be fat soluble, so they stick in your fat. So one of the most important things is to optimize your body fat.
But sir, can you explain to me what dehydrated water is? You mean?
I don't want to touch that one because it sounds like an oxymoron.
Yeah, sir.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean distilled water. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, it's okay, brother. God bless you. No, from what my dad, he's a dentist, oral surgeon. He says, Doc, is it true that he says, okay, distilled's fine, but not all the time. That it's a powerful, cleanser, and that it'll basically too much of it, though, it'll start stripping stuff out of you.
Yeah, it tends to remove some of the important minerals, so it's not going to be necessarily good for removing things like Agent Orange and other heavy metals. So not heavy metals, but pesticides. So what strategies work best for that are things like infrared sauna and exercise where you're sweating. So it's just sweating, optimizing your percentage of body fat, allowing your body to excrete these things through your sweat and your urine and your breath are a really good strategy. And then having a really good diet, staying away from sugar. So those are really useful strategies that can really help your body eliminate most of the junk.
So exercise, get off sugar, things like that to get the stuff out of your body. One more quick question. Chris in Florida, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Alex, this is one of the 2 We Are Changed Tampa members who had the honors of guesting on your show last February in Orlando, and I must let you know that Tampa is in Hillsborough County, but Pinellas County is due west, just across Tampa Bay, where some members of We Are Changed Tampa.
Yeah, we only got about 30 seconds, so you're talking about people getting fluoride out. Very, very exciting.
Well, Dr. Mercola, I do agree with you on most issues, but I must take issue on 2 subjects.
We got to jump. It's not that you disagree. It's just that we're trying to jam in as many calls as possible. We're out of time. But Dr. Mercola says, hey, it won't be a couple of years till he comes back on. He's going to start joining us every month or so to give us updates on the big fight with Monsanto there in California, Mercola.com. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
All right. Thanks for having me, Alex. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. What a cliffhanger there. That caller can get back in next time, but he's got to go. So we're out of time for this segment. We'll be back and always online for now at Infowars.com. Twitter, Real Alex Jones.